Alright people, what's going on? So I knew eventually this time would come, but this article recently just came out a couple days ago. Square Enix plans to focus on global markets because of graying demographics in Japan. This is only a negative for Square Enix. Before I even get into the article, because long story short, when you go into marketing yourself for a global audience, it's damn near impossible to do. Square Enix, most of their main titles are like heavily based in story, like those long drawn out stories. You got Final Fantasy, of course, you got Dragon Quest, you got Kingdom Hearts, I believe. Story-based games. So you guys ever heard that term, when you cast a broad net, you capture no one? That's exactly what Square Enix is planning to do, with moving their attention from what works to focusing on trying to capture everyone else. It literally makes no sense, because when you focus on a global market, when you look to the West for a global market, that means you have to change things around. You have to add in things that people don't want. You have to push wokeness. No one wants that shit in their video games. When you start looking for the market in China, now you have to heavily censor things, and I'm going to get into all that. But for some reason, just because the demographic for these games, Square Enix feels as though they're getting too old. Their demographics is getting gray. That is true, but they also have to look at hey, there's gonna be a lot of other people being born. And of course, I believe it's in this article that it mentions that the Japanese have such a low birth rate. But nevertheless, because Square Enix pushes their products worldwide, evidently they're still going to capture the market that they always had, because for other regions of the world, there's always going to be a new set of demographic that they can capture with what works right now. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go into our actual article. Okay, so Square Enix plans to focus on global market because of graying demographics in Japan. Let's see. Oh, let me scroll down here. Okay, so okay, I don't know what the Amaranth is doing on my. Can I remove it? No, I can't. Okay, yeah, this is from the gamer. That's why. Square Enix recently explained how the company will be focusing on the global market because of the graying demographics in Japan. The country currently is one of the highest proportions of elderly citizens in the world. Now, of course, yeah, because the Japanese, I mean, they fucking almost live forever in some cases, but which is why it's what made them it's what made them who they are today. Because if you're looking at elderly players, well, not elderly, but up in age players, not really that young demographic, they tend to lean more on the side of story, because they may have a long day work and they don't feel like popping in an FPS and getting toxic and raging. They just want to pop in, watch a good story, and that's it. It helps them take the edge off. But for some reason, Square is just, I don't know what they're fucking doing, man. The news comes from a financial report given to investors, which claims that it would be critical for our business that we produce hit titles that speak to the global market. This goes on to remark that for our group to better focus on developing titles for the global market in this changing environment, we need to concentrate our limited resources on the development of strong and robust titles. What? See, you guys already have limited resources, and you're gonna use that limited resource that you have to try to capture everyone. Bro, that's like taking an old broken down like little like crap shack like of a boat and trying to say, hey, we're gonna fish worldwide, when that's literally impossible to do. You know you have limited resources, and so you think, okay, instead of using our limited resources in more productive ways to push better stories, because we know that's what works. It's what made Square Enix who they are. Hey, now we're just gonna scratch that, and we're just gonna try to appeal to everyone, because in trying to appeal to everyone, you capture no one. Bro, it's like they've forgotten how much effort and time and resources it took to make Final Fantasy 14 great. Bro, they have 14 that we have, 15 that's coming out next year. It's now look, some of you may consider me, a Final Fantasy Andy, and in some ways I am. Bro, I love Final Fantasy so much. Bro, I'm actually playing the goddamn game right now. Let me see if I can. Let me move this. I'm playing the game right now. I'm farming on my island. Wait, let me make sure I reset my camera correctly. Okay, yeah, I'm good. It's like Square forgotten how much effort it took to make that game great. Now, yeah, you may see it as an MMO, but it's largely based around the story. So, you're telling me that for better focus on developing titles, it's better to push it to a global market instead of that niche that they have, that they specialize in. Bro, once you capture what works, you can improve what works, but don't essentially remake the wheel. You don't need to take off. You don't need a new tire just because of a small leak. You might need a patch, and in some cases, yeah, you do need a new tire if things are in such a critical condition. But in most cases, in this case, what works is what works for them. Bro, they're just shooting themselves in the foot. Let's continue. Let me continue, because we need to enhance our presence in the global market by quickly establishing an organizational structure that enables us to constantly roll out high quality content produced through selective and focused resource allocation that requires the revamping of our title and studio portfolio. The document points out, achieving major growth in the game industry is difficult now for companies that compete primarily in the Japanese market, given its growing demographic. Bro, this is, how is it that people in business can be so fucking stupid, but yet they make so much money? If you guys want to consistently roll out high quality content, and if you guys want to grow in other markets, yeah, that's fine. Of course, you need funds so you can make more titles. I'm not stupid. I know how business works. But instead of improving in the niche that you have, you're just gonna say, hey, let's just revamp our entire portfolio. Now look, because look, I kind of harp back on Final Fantasy 14 because this is probably the most played Square Enix title as of right now. Though I still play 7 and even the remake, and I'm gonna get to that in a second, pointing out to 7. when you revamp titles that people fell in love with, it only causes backlash. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. Not every what's the phrase? Not every publicity is good publicity, or something like that. Now look, Square Enix, with 14 being kind of like a competitor to WoW, instead of looking over the market, instead of looking across the water to the west and saying, wow man, you know, World of Warcraft really fucked up with, you know, censoring a lot of stuff and changing women into bowls of fruit. Now look, I'm not saying they're gonna go to that level, but I'm saying that's where they're headed. Evidently that's where they're heading. You can say, you know, these, I'm nitpicking and these are, you know, small changes, well not even small changes, but these are like a change in the shift of the market that they want to capture. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. But the thing is, in order for these publications to hit different markets, you have to essentially guideline yourself with other publications in the platforms that you want to publish on. Bro, PlayStation moved their headquarters to fucking California. We've already had so much backlash. Well, I mean, not recently, but we've had so much issues with Square Enix. Like, for example, the remake for 14, putting Cloud in a fucking dress. Let's see, but they've changed Tifa's breasts in the remake. They've censored artwork from various manga, bro. I don't know what Square is thinking with trying to capture this demographic that they're so sought out after, but it is only going to be detrimental to the company. There's apparently not enough demand on the domestic market to maintain the business model established by Square Enix. In other words, the Japanese market is no longer sufficient for achieving the level of earnings that enable us to recoup our development investment and generate profit, and therefore need to approach our development efforts based on the assumption that we have to succeed in the global market. The report blatantly states. Do you know why you guys have been losing money? It's because you've been putting out shitty games for the past couple of years. Need I say the Avengers? That crap shoot of a game? Need I say, what was another one? It was some kind of it was a game that died off so quickly. I may have to like insert it. What was it? Shit, it's not coming to mind. Wish I brought it up for this. But the reason why you guys have been losing such money is not because you guys need to succeed in other markets. It's because you guys just need to put out a high quality product. That's it. It doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to. The next product that Square Enix puts out, whether it's 15 or something else that's coming out even earlier. I think they just recently released some kind of farming game, Harvest something, and they recently put out the Dealfield Chronicles. And I know they're coming out with another Octopath Traveler game. The reason why you guys have been losing money is because you guys are putting and allocating resources into products that don't have enough time to cook in the oven, that comes out in such a bad state. That's why you're losing money. It's not that you need to revamp yourself or, you know, try to capture some kind of other market. It's because you guys have been just rushing out games, because you guys specialize in making story-based content. In contrary to popular belief, to actually have a high quality story, it takes time. it takes time to write a story. Who knew, right? God, man, like, look, mark my words, man. Clip it and ship it. But with Square Enix doing this, they're just tying the rope, throwing it over a branch, making a nice little noose, and they're pulling out the chair. They're putting the rope around themselves. For right now, they still have the chair underneath them, but evidently they're gonna kick that chair right from under them. And when that happens, as much as I love Final Fantasy 14, as soon as I see that the game becomes something unrecognizable, I'm out. I am out. I'm not gonna be one of these 14 content creators that, I mean, even though I just mainly particularly stick to, you know, game reactions, but, you know, I would like to do more 14 stuff while I am enjoying the game. But I'm not gonna just show for, you know, a game that just because, you know, oh, I had fun back in the good old days, you know, that, you know, I'm just gonna stick around. No, fuck that. As soon as I see that this game is no longer enjoyable, that it doesn't stick to what made it great, I'm out. I don't care if I have to go to Guild Wars 2. I don't care if it is some kind of other MMO, bro. I'm not sticking. I'm gonna bounce. Bro, let me hyper finish this damn thing. The company also remains fully committed to the block. Even though Square Enix will never see this video, no one wants NFTs in their fucking video games. Square Enix considers blockchain entertainment to be a key part of our strategy for future growth, according to the document. The company has identified AI, the cloud, and blockchain as future development areas. Square, I'm gonna say it. Some of you guys might need to leave. You guys over at Square Enix, some of you guys over at Square Enix, and it's the people at the top. It's not the developers. Let me keep that in mind. It's not the developers for the product. It's the people up top that makes decisions like this. But for some reason, I don't know how they made it. Well, I know how they made it because, you know, story-based, they specialize in story-based content. But I don't know how these people are still in the position that they are at the top. But these people at the top, they're retarded. I'm gonna say it, they're simply retarded. No one wants blockchain implemented into their video game. They received backlash recently about this. God damn it, bro. Listen, that whole NFT thing, that was a fad. When was the last time you heard any kind of news about NFTs? Who in their right mind would purchase an NFT in a video game when all the developers have to do is just turn off the servers and you lose the NFT? Who's gonna put money in that? Who's gonna... Bro, you have to be a special kind of stupid to say, hey, I'm gonna purchase a piece of digital code that's only relevant as long as the servers are online. Bro, I don't even think World of Warcraft is implementing the blockchain. I could be wrong. I need to do research. Let me not even put that in the ether. I got kicked out of my island. Okay, but nevertheless, Square Enix, they're forgetting what made them successful. Just because they feel as though they have... Now look, you may say, hey, the reports show that it's a graying audience. In some cases that's true, but they have to forget about the other millions of people who still play their games, still love that story-based content. And they're not even looking to the future generations of kids that will want that. Dumb, and it's incredible. Now you can say, yeah, in some cases companies need to change and adapt to survive. Cool, I agree with you. But to simply uproot themselves and change themselves for the market, that's not how you do business. That's not how you do successful business. You can go into the market and you can offer something special and unique, and people will come to your product on their own. But if you're always changing for the market, bro, imagine, let's say you go into let's say a I mean, this is just kind of a example, but let's say there's a mom and pop shop that specializes in I don't know, well, I don't want to say mom and pop. Well, yeah, let's say mom and pop. A mom and pop shop that specializes in, let's say, small electronics. Cool. Now let's say you do some business with them. You know, you want to repair some phones, some, you know, maybe older consoles that you still play with, that you can pass down to your kids. Now let's imagine this little mom and pop shop was getting some business. Couple of months down the line, they taken all their equipment out, and now they specialize in planes. Now I know that's an extreme, you know, example, but let's say if I want to stick around to electronics, let's say instead of dealing with, you know, specializing in consoles and other small electronics, let's say they just deal with repairing just PCs. Let's say a couple of months down the line, let's say they specialize in repairing, I don't know, car serials. Bro, you're losing your clientele, the people that support you, by just revamping everything that put you in that spot, that made you acquire that building, that made you gain customers. Now look, some of you may say, oh, you know, I don't like change. It's not the fact that I don't like change. You can change. I have no problem with people changing, with companies changing and growing. But you have to keep a core audience. Now when you neglect that core audience, all of those people are going to find somewhere else to go, whether that be your competition or just other games in general. It's why Call of Duty is failing, because they no longer care about their core audience. But that's a video for another day. I'm getting out of here. Square, I hate to see it, but when they eventually hang themselves from the actions that they themselves put into motion, I'm not gonna be one of those people, you know, trying to save them. I'm gonna pull up my chair, I'm gonna heat up a nice hot batch of popcorn, and I'm gonna eat, and I'm gonna watch them shoot themselves in the foot. I'm gonna watch them hang themselves, not literally, but I'm gonna just watch them crash and burn. Meanwhile, I'll find some other MMO to go to. I'll find something else to play, because there are still other small, it's mostly indie developers now that are up and coming, who can serve my needs, who can serve the niche that they're in better than Square can. Well, then Square eventually will just give up on. It is what it is. Take care. Bye bye.